Tell us about your childhood.
Um, I was raised in the heart of the ghetto with my mother and my stepdad. I had some brothers and sisters. We were on welfare, and so that's where I lived. That's all I knew at the time.
Did you have a nurturing childhood? Did you feel protected?
Mm, I guess protected. I mean, how much protection could you really feel in the heart of the ghetto? Um, I felt more comfortable with my friends than I did at home. And I think on part is simply the saying, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Come to find out that my biological dad and my mom, I was the only child between the two. So growing up in that environment, that home, I was the outsider.
Hmm.
Okay. So they did the best they could, and I felt alone. So therefore, I put my attentions on my friends and outside of the house.
Now, what were the influences outside of the house? What were some of your choices?
Mm. Well, as a young kid, we just did what we did. But growing up, getting ready to get into the teens, a couple of things. We had the option of let's sell drugs to make money because ultimately our objective was to be better, right? So I didn't want to sell drugs, and then the other option was simply to join the gang, and I really didn't want to join a gang, so I decided to do something different.
And what was that?
Uh, I had some small friends, but some friends were doing producing shows for the public access TV from Milwaukee. So I decided to go that route, and come to find out I was pretty good in it. And so I started doing producing videos, and shortly after, still photography, and of course, leaving the gangs and the drug scene behind. So that's what I did.
And where did that lead you?
Accidentally, though, since age 14 to graduate high school, it just I had a nice portfolio. So we went to New York, and I had a couple of interviews. One in particular, gentleman told me I looked like crap, but loved my work, and so we decided to start a business, and that's where I was for a little while.
So tell us about your business.
The business in itself was in two parts: videography, where we did video work for the Face Records, Epic, Universal, and then still photography, where we did it with Ford modeling agencies and other modeling um, small and businesses. Um, Became very lucrative in that, more money I've ever seen at the time. And so um, my first check when I first got there to New York of hire was $25,000. So you can imagine the heart of the ghetto, $25,000 in New York. Wow.
So what eventually happened to the business? Was it lucrative?
It was lucrative. $25,000 a year later turned into $1 million, and $1 million turned into $10 million. A lot of friends, a lot of parties. That lifestyle of the rich and famous. From the heart of the ghetto to the rich and famous. That was me.
Did you sell the business and what happened after that?
So yes, I sold the business for some personal reasons, but I did sell the business. We divided the money out. I received $2.2 million out of it, and believe it or not, shortly afterwards, I became homeless. One of the things they don't harp on in the business world, at least in my point of view, is investing. You work hard, nobody talks about investing. So I became homeless.
And what was your journey out of homelessness?
So I was homeless for about 6 months, and I just simply made up my mind that I did not want to be part of this, right? Um, so my options at the time was to join the military. So I wanted to be all the best I can be. So I decided to join the Green Beret, the Special Force community, and in doing so, had a great 8 year run with the military.
And what was your journey to your education?
Um, when we first got into the military, us the newbies, the instructors always harped on us, get an education, do something after and outside of the military. Simply because in the special op community, um, some of us won't make it and some of us won't retire from it. So I decided to go down counseling. One of the reasons that I decided to go counseling is to understand the why about self. Um, so I got a bachelor's in counseling, I got a master's in counseling and philosophy, and then I got my PhD and beyond.
So in regards to your journey to your education, and I know you're a counselor, what are some of your passions right now?
Um,
I mean, what led you to counseling and divinity?
right. Well, I was always fascinated about spirituality, God, Jesus, and all of that, up into that. And so I decided to go divinity to understand the spiritual world and how one believes, what they believe in. And at the same time, counseling because I wanted to understand the psyche of the mind. And so to understand the trueness of the person, you have to wrap those two together. And that's what I believed in, the two genres. My passion is to help the people. Okay. I became a minister, licensed and ordained to help the people as the church counselor. I started a private practice to help the people. Wherever I go, I try to help the people. Simply because someone helped me, so I feel now I've been blessed enough, I can now go back and help somebody else.
So you're giving back.
Giving back as long as I can.
Now, I know personally, your approach to counseling, it's
Yes.
very raw and
Yes.
it's very authentic.
Yes.
Talk to me about your approaches, and it does come off in your counseling and your speaking and, even your television program. Talk to me about your approach.
One of my approaches, or all of my approaches actually, is the idea of results. Okay. I believe that if you have a problem, if you have a situation, you should be able to have a result from it. Okay. So instead of pruning around the bush of the tree, I do a lot of uprooting.
Mm-hmm.
So I position myself in a point where I'm better and bigger, so you can look up towards me. I position myself greater than, so you can understand what that means. And then I shake you up, and at the same time, I guide and I teach. So when you're rationalizing what just happened to me, you're also realizing, wow, I'm actually getting better.
Mm-hmm.
And then with time, we should be able to bring out a result. And so that's what I do. I'm a root. I uplift trees and plants and people, and I replant them.
Yes, you're definitely a digger.
Yes.
I know that
Yes.
personally.
Now, for a special note, on the outside looking at me, especially in the TV program, they might say, "Oh, he's arrogant, conceited." Well, the perception is, but my heart and my motive is always to help the people. So I have to project a certain way, so it gives an opportunity for someone who's wanting to come up, what it looks like. So that's what I do.
You keep digging
Yeah.
and keep helping, and we're enjoying watching your journey.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.